Bot 2. I will be your local admin assistant throughout most of today. As a reminder, the classes will be recorded to be posted later on for anyone who is not able to attend. This is an Outlands official event, so of course all of our general rules do apply for such things, including being polite and courteous, offensive language, bullying, etc., etc. The 9 a.m. class scheduled will be on officer positions, deputies, and understanding each roles for each officer.
I wanted folks to know, and so those of you who are seneschals, if you have anybody asking questions and anybody who's even interested in this meeting, it's not like a super secret meeting. It's not like for seneschals only. Anybody who's just in general interested in the offices is more than welcome to join us. It's going to be more of an educational. This is what this is. Literally, the offices were going to be go over the corporate and the kingdom definitions and duties as assigned by law. So, it's all public information. Well, thank you for joining us. I think this meeting will be pretty useful for you, I hope. We're going to go over, like I said earlier, just some basics of the various offices in the society for this initial discussion. So I'm going to bring up my PowerPoint. All right, good.
There we go.
All right. Do you guys see the PowerPoint presentation?
Yes.
Excellent. Haha. Well, this hour's discussion is about officers and offices. If there are any typos, please forgive me. This was done rather quickly. For this discussion, we're going to discuss or look at the offices that we have in the SCA in general. Each office has requirements from corpora, which supersedes kingdom law. And we also have some requirements from kingdom law. So one thing to keep in mind about kingdom law is that modern law and society law or corpora takes precedence over kingdom law. That's a really important distinction that seneschals must make, especially in the event of an emergency. You really need to look at what you are required to do by, firstly, modern law, and secondly, potentially corpora. All officers, and this is not any particular officer, must, based on corpora, maintain monthly communication with their corresponding kingdom officer using official email methods, for example, the Outlands email, or perform their duties consistent with society and kingdom policies. From kingdom law, local officers must reside within the recognized boundaries of the branch they serve or receive written approval from both their corresponding kingdom officer and the kingdom seneschal. So you have to live in the local group you're working for. That's been an issue in some of our smaller and closer groups down here in the South. I'm not sure if anybody's had any issues like that in the North. Local officers are responsible to a superior officer, possibly royalty or a territorial baron and or baroness, depending on the particular administrative structure of that area. In shires, generally that is the crown. In baronies, you have a baron or baroness. I think that's the majority of groups that we have on this discussion. Cantons get a little different. They are tied to a barony, and as well as we have newer groups called ridings, I think, and I'm not sure where they lie in that. Officers assist the royalty in the administration of the lands and branches of the realm. Each officer has a specific area of specialization and a defined geographic scope. Within those bounds, an officer coordinates branch activities and may supervise deputies or lesser officers. Do we have any questions so far? That's just what each office, every office in general, needs to do.
The only question or comment that came in on chat was about hamlets, and I believe where they fall in.
Okay, thank you. Oh, is that a question or a comment?
I think that might be a question. You also have a hand raised from our Kingdom Seneschal elect.
Okay. Aldith, would you like to speak up?
Well, just more than I'm investigating things since I got the email access for the reports, and I'm not seeing the baronies relaying the reports that they have on their subgroups. So whether it's a canton, a college, or whatever else it is, I am getting a separate report from Bladewood down in Albuquerque, and they seem to be doing well. But any other canton that is there, if they're not reporting directly to Kingdom at this time, I would really like to see them reporting through their sponsoring group.
Thank you for that. That is really a big thing. If it's easier, or if you're worried about it, if you just CC folks after you get your OSP report back to you, that would be great. We'll talk more about this later in our meeting. We've also had similar problems with some of the Kingdom offices, so it's always best to, if possible, spread your report further than you necessarily think it needs to go, unless you feel like you have real sensitive information in there. So the main...
Before you
go ahead.
continue, Melissa also has their hand up.
Okay, Melissa?
Sorry about that. The comment on Hamlets was me, and it was just, I think the Hamlets are the newest group. So
Yes.
So that was just me. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, Hamlets are a newer group. They're a smaller group. I know we were looking into trying to form a couple of those, but we haven't really done that yet.
Yes, we have.
Oh, have we?
Mm-hmm.
Where?
Platford Ham is.
Oh, yes. I forgot about that.
And their sponsoring group is Unsterhaven.
So with these hamlets, you have to have a sponsoring group, and that can be kind of difficult getting that started, because I know that they've been having trouble with bank accounts. But the nice thing is you don't have to have officers, and folks can take a little time out if they need it. It can be a nice starting point for a change for a group. All right. So the offices we have are the Seneschal, Exchequer Chronicler, Principal Herald, Earl Marshal, and Minister of A&S. Those are the ones that are directly addressed in corpora. There are other offices, but these are the major ones that we're going to go over. Okay. So first, probably of the most interest for this group is the Seneschal. And this is from, corporate. Under corpora, it says that the Seneschal is the chief administrative officer of the society for the kingdom, which includes coordinating the other kingdom officers as required for smooth operations of the kingdom and for its relations with outside agencies. The Seneschal is responsible for assisting new branches and for branch elevations. So let's break down that first part. The Seneschal, and this relates to the Kingdom Seneschal. However, hopefully it works similarly in your local groups where you coordinate with your local officers. Now, that doesn't mean that they are your subordinates necessarily, but there should be a certain amount of communication and coordination. And, in some instances, sometimes it is expedient to ask your fellow officer to send you a copy of their report just so you know what's going on. And hopefully you have a good enough relationship with them that isn't a big deal. The seneschal, moving on, the seneschal shall review all proposed changes to kingdom law to determine compliance with the governing documents of the society and advise the crown accordingly. We've just recently had a new revision of kingdom law that was sent to society for review. And we're going to be going over that later in our meeting. Additionally, the seneschal shall, with due promptness, either acknowledge the propriety of the changes by signing them prior to the crown's enacting them, or shall state any conflicts in writing to the crown and the greater officers of the kingdom. Once law has been enacted, the seneschal shall ensure that the society and the seneschal and the board ombudsman for the kingdom receive current copies, which must include the seneschal's opinions regarding the apparent conflicts, if any. The principal herald is the head of the kingdom's Colorado. Sorry, we bled into the herald stuff. Do we have any questions about that? So the primary purpose of the seneschal's office is, as chief administrative officer, we deal with the kingdom law and we do have interpretations. Now, if you need interpretation of kingdom law, please contact the Kingdom Seneschal, as that is their main role in our organization. Let's see. So this is what kingdom law states, or the current kingdom law states, as to what the seneschal's potential job is: to maintain monthly communication with their corresponding kingdom officers using official email methods, and additionally, the local greater officers, which is your local seneschals, must provide at least 6 months' notice of intent to step down. Other than that, the seneschals are not really addressed in great detail. Do we have any questions about any of that?
We
do?
Cara, you have your hand up? One moment, you're muted. Let's try and...
There we go.
There you go.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem.
Touch screen didn't want to touch very well. Now, I have been putting on the Kerguelen website as well that I need to step down, but just put in the OH recently. That still qualifies at least that 6 months, because it's been a year since I've been trying to find a deputy and to step down. But
it doesn't state in kingdom law where you need to. So I would say that if you have been posting in your local group communications, that's but it would be nice for folks to make sure that Kingdom is aware of that. Put that in your monthly report if you're looking to step down.
Okay. I'll make sure that the next person knows kind of what to do.
Yeah, we're kind of in a transitory period. Kingdom law is rather new, and I don't think it's even 6 months old. No, it can't be 6 months old. It's rather new, and we're trying to enact it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. I heard a beep. I can't see any screen.
Seneschal-elect is requesting to speak.
Aldith?
That was me. There was, and I haven't gotten access to the Kingdom things through any of my Kingdom emails yet. Excuse me, to look at the things. But there used to be a help wanted section on the website where not only did they want the Kingdom offices to be posted on that help wanted site, but they also encouraged the local officers to put it up there in case someone was looking at it and saw that there was an opening or a suggested opening. Do we still have that? Does anybody know?
I haven't looked in a while.
I believe the help wanted section is there. It's whether people are using it as well as regularly updating it. Our web administrator team has been doing their best to keep those things up to date, but it does raise the question on local versus that, because if it blurs the line and you get someone from outside the area who volunteers, that could be problematic. But I do believe, at least last I checked, the help wanted section is still on the page. And then, of course, the OH is the official way for getting content or comments out. And Christine, while I'm here, do you have a little thing on your window that says your screen is sharing and there's an option to hide, just because that started to cover up your last line
Oh, did
of
it?
the
Oh,
text on the
okay.
last slide?
Thanks. Yeah. Sorry. This presentation mode is really awkward. It's a newer thing in PowerPoint, and I'm finding it's not as cool as I thought. So, because I can't see anything other than a slide. All right.
Before you move on, Unserhoffen just raised their hand.
Okay.
Just me. So I'm looking at the Outlands website here. And so that help wanted that you guys were talking about, is that where it has open officer positions? Is that the one you're talking about?
I think that's what Aldith was talking about.
Okay. So then it has these listings. One's from 2023, 2024, and 2025. And I'm not seeing how to, because you said that local officers can use it, not just seneschals, but I've got 2 local officers, and if they could put it in here, but I'm not seeing how to put something on there. Does that make sense?
Yes. And if you have trouble with anything related to the web, I would contact Johan. He has a team, and he probably would forward you on to whoever is in charge of that.
Okay. I'm writing that down right now. All right. Thank you.
No problem. Any more questions about the seneschal or officers or step down? All right. So moving on to the Exchequer. The Chancellor of the Exchequer is responsible for maintaining the financial records of the kingdom, supervising the finances of the kingdom, and assembling financial reports and submitting them to Society Chancellor of the Exchequer in a timely manner. Likewise, at the local level, local officers are responsible for maintaining the financial records of the group and assembling financial reports. I think that's fairly straightforward. So we'll move on to what we have in Kingdom Law. The Exchequer must ensure accurate and timely financial reporting for all branches. In the case of the Kingdom Exchequer, chair the Kingdom Financial Committee, but they also, at the local level, run the local financial committees. Additionally, we have written down that they should be promoting revenue-raising programs for the kingdom or their local group, publish quarterly financial status reports to the populace via, in the case of the Kingdom Exchequer, the Outlandish Herald, monitor the office of the Chamberlain, who shall be responsible for creation and maintenance and storage and repair of regalia maintaining an inventory of kingdom regalia, and ensure the transition of regalia from crown to crown. In baronies, I'm assuming they have a similar function. They can the exchequer is to complete a reconciliation of property at the end of each reign, and at the discretion and consultation of the crown, create a regalia committee. For local groups, every so often, I think it's every 2 years, but I'm not 100% certain, they should be completing a reconciliation of the property. Do we have any questions about that? Okay, we'll move on to the chronicler. The chronicler supervises all publishing activities of the kingdom and is the editor or supervises the editor of the kingdom newsletter, which is responsible for all required announcements and notices of society events, kingdom law, or other kingdom business. Excuse me. The chronicler works with the society registrar on matters of mailing and circulation. The chronicler is also responsible for accounting for the corporate stipend and other kingdom newsletter income, and reporting all such income and expenditures to the society chancellor of the exchequer. The big thing out of this is the chronicler is to supervise the publishing of, the newsletter. And the newsletter is the official place for any announcements. So folks need to, if you're interested in what's going on at the kingdom and official announcements there, you need to be reading the OH, and your local newsletter is where you should try to post all your official announcements. Any questions about that? All right. From the kingdom law, we have the chronicler is to maintain monthly communication with their corresponding kingdom officer using official email methods, either the Outlands email accounts or the OSP, or Outlands Service Portal, sorry. And we will be having a presentation on the Outlands Service Portal this afternoon for folks who are interested. So the next office that is addressed was the Principal Herald. The Principal Herald is the head of the Kingdom's College of Heralds and is responsible for supervising field heraldry and court heraldry at events within the kingdom and for the College of Arms activities within the kingdom, including timely processing of submissions for names and armory. Do we have any questions about that? That's pretty straightforward, I think. Okay, well, the Principal Herald shall serve as the voice of the crown, process submissions for names and devices and badges in accordance with the College of Arms, advise on ceremony, court, protocol, and heraldic matters, maintain the order of precedence and list of awards, maintain and oversee the Outlands College of Heralds, oversee the Kingdom Scribe and Scribe's Office, ensuring the accuracy of scroll text and maintaining the Scribe's Handbook. Do we have any questions about that? I know in some of our smaller groups, we might not have a herald. In our baronies, we generally do, and they work closely with the Kingdom Herald's Office. So next is the Earl Marshal. The Earl Marshal's area of authority is all martial and related activities practiced in the kingdom, both those prescribed by the society handbooks, approved for the office, and proposed as addition to those handbooks. The Earl Marshal bears primary responsibility for promoting both the safety and the authenticity of the martial and related activities in the kingdom, but works with the other officers in their areas of mutual interests. The Earl Marshal is responsible for issuing and maintaining authorizations for all participants and warranting marshals for the kingdom. Furthermore, the Earl Marshal shall supervise all martial activities as defined by the Society Marshal, enforce society and kingdom martial rules and safety standards, coordinate with other kingdoms for inter-kingdom standards, direct the activities of the armored combat marshal, the marshal of fence, the archer general, and thrown weapons general, the equestrian marshal, the minister of the list, and any other martial activities which fall under the society marshal's purview. Each subordinate marshal shall set, maintain, and enforce the armor, weapons, equipment standards, and conventions for the respective discipline. Each subordinate marshal shall be responsible for developing the authorization procedures and warranting marshals for their respective disciplines. Do we have any questions about marshals? We tend to have marshals in most of our groups. All right. And I think this might be our last office, but by far not the least, is the Minister of Arts and Sciences. The Minister of Arts and Sciences is responsible for supporting the study of art forms, technologies, and those aspects of culture relating to their use in both the period and society activities. Excuse me. Under the Kingdom law section, we have they must maintain and interpret the rules for arts and science competitions, solicit bids for Kingdom arts and science competitions and Outlands Collegium, along with the Dean of the Outlands University in accordance with Kingdom events and timelines, encourage research, practice, and education in arts and sciences and medieval technologies, and organize and oversee Kingdom arts and science events or appoint a deputy to do so. Act as the president of the Outlands University, direct the activities of the Dean of the Outlands University, who shall be responsible for directing arts and sciences learning events in the Outlands. Do we have any questions about the Minister of Arts and Sciences? So, in this, thanks for putting up with the presentation. I find reading stuff can help me think things through. So, folks, I wanted to show folks where you find the information that we just went over, because it changes regularly and you need to know where to find it. So in this case, we go to the Outlands, the Outlands website, and under library, oh, come on, behave yourself. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, thank you. So under the library, you have both corpora, which is where the governing documents for the society exist, and we have kingdom law. We're going to discuss kingdom law and what the requirements are for offices of each group. So we can usually do a search somewhere, but I'm not seeing that search button right, of course. So we can say offices, and we can search under that. And the search function is not great. So,
well, I have the one up for types of branches, but it doesn't want to let me share it at the moment. I can read it.
Yeah, that's okay. I will stop sharing. So this is where you find the information that Aldith has, and Aldith is going to bring it up on her computer.
I'm going to try. I tried it once and it says, no, you can't share for whatever reason. But I'll tell you, this is the branch of the Kingdom of the Outlands Law, Appendix 2, page 29. It has the types of branches, and each branch must meet the requirements of the governing documents. And of course, they all have the lovely things. All branches, barony, shire, canton, college, province, and hamlet must maintain a seneschal and exchequer who are current paid members within the boundaries, maintain a mailing address within the branch territory, a minimum level of participation as defined in corporate law, submit required reports to their kingdom officers, hold regular activities, meetings and or practices. And of course, they said if you don't do that, bad things to happen. An incipient branch is a group that wants to be an official branch, and it includes a minimum number of paid members of 5, a designated seneschal and exchequer plus 1 other greater officer. So at that point in time, it would be a herald or an arts and sciences, although generally if you have martial activities, it needs to be a knight marshal. Incipient branches cannot hold funds, and any advancement from an incipient to full status is approval by the Kingdom Seneschal. And there's a whole lot of things in there on the hamlet only because we are one of the first kingdoms to have it. Hamlets have to have 1 paid member who serves as the liaison between where the hamlet is and the kingdom. And that's what Platform is doing. We have all the different branch designations. And they have their requirements for how many people are in each group, but generally a shire is not required to have a chronicler or publish a newsletter. A barony is. So that would be a requirement to have a chronicler or someone who actually does that. A principality has to have at least 100 members in it. A kingdom must have 400 members in it to be a kingdom. A barony and a province need 25 members and a full slate of officers. And any shire, which also goes for those, or a local branch, has to have 5 paid members. And that has slightly changed because before we had different kinds of members where we had sustaining or subscribing, and then we had family members or just an associate member. And they've changed that verbiage. So now we just need 5 members. However, you have to remember that certain offices require a certain level of membership to do. Like your seneschals and exchequers have to be a subscribing member. In our kingdom law, that's pretty much what it has in there. It says to refer to corporate policy, and they have the Kingdom Seneschal with the Crown and Society can put a branch on probation if they don't report or make them dormant, and those are not any things that we ever want to do. We have a lot of stuff in kingdom law that I know Aisha's going to go over as far as those events and the stuff for the OSP this afternoon, so I won't. That is our. If there's some question that I can answer and tell you where all those lovely things are, let me know. Nope. I think most of us who are here have already been there, done that, or having to figure out how many people you have and what you're doing. We don't have a particular new person other than maybe Delilah, who's going to be a deputy and on a learning curve.